to the conservatives out there, because I have more personal empathy for the difficult position you've been put in by your media and your politicians than anyone else in America. This is him running scared. And I know that it might shock you to hear that, because it sounds like he's throwing his weight around. He gets to decide if there should be a debate or whatever. That's what being an alpha is. No, saying that there are conditions under which you're going to run scared from a debate is not what being an alpha is. And I'm not even saying like what an alpha should be, if the term has any value whatsoever. I mean like the stupid old school toxic conservative version of being an alpha. This isn't even that. Here's what you say. Yeah, I don't care where the debate is, when the debate is, how many debates there are. I'll be there, and you know what? I'm probably gonna be alone, because I don't think anyone is gonna even be willing to stand against me. That's what you say if you're confident, you scaredy pants. But instead, he is making it so that if old Puddin' Fingers wants to say that Trump is too much of a little weenie to debate him, he's now got the comments to point to, and people are taking what he said and running with it. Republicans Against Trumpism, who I assume is a legit organization, they have a blue check, so I guess they must be, say alpha male Donnie is scared of debates, coward. The Foo ties it in with another story we've already talked about, saying, call me crazy, but the fact that the two leading candidates don't think they should have to debate during the primaries to earn their spots seems like a giant red flag. Guess I'm old fashioned. Yeah, maybe old fashioned, but also right. I mean, the fact that Trump is running scared, Biden doesn't even have to bleat about it. He can just have the DNC imply, it's not a finalized thing, but strongly imply that there are not going to be debates, even though there are multiple announced candidates already, including some serious ones. So look, I think that the choice of president is a serious thing. We are often let down in a million different ways by those individuals as well as the parties. But at the very least, as little utility as most debates tend to have in the modern form because of format and how evasive they are, we at least deserve a chance for them to be questioned openly. And now it doesn't look like we're gonna have them in the primary potentially. And God only knows during the general. Trump was talking last time about not doing them. Now, he did in the end retreat from even that position, and he did debate Biden twice, but he's now gonna be even older and more pathetic than he was back then. Maybe we won't even get that. It's possible we will not have a single debate between now and the election, JR.
What's sad, man, is DeSantis, you said he has an opportunity to label him as this, and that. We saw a couple of examples of those labels. None of those would come from Ron DeSantis. He's still scared, no matter what it is. He can't say it, he can't do it. If he does, fine, may I be proven wrong at that point, but we'll see how it is that he does it. He's being handled, and as well as he's afraid of things. He's covering up his travel. He wants to make sure people don't know who's visiting, all this stuff. He's trying to be the most hidden candidate ever. And if you remember just a cycle or two back, they're always talking about how, look at these hidden candidates. Look at, they're not gonna show us what they're doing here and there. How come you're not mad about that now? Still, this guy does not want anything about him in any aspect of his life to be exposed as he runs for effing president of the United States. So I don't see Ron DeSantis saying or doing much. And it's another maybe reason why Donald Trump can say things like this very confidently, because he still has a grip on the entire party by that stuff.
Is it not weird that if you were going to have two candidates who ran last time, just decide, no, I'm just the person, just shut up, just accept it, that's what it's gonna be, that at least in that hypothetical, shouldn't they be popular? Like if we're gonna totally forego all of the value that a primary can bring, and I think it's important in a government system that sometimes calls itself a democracy, but for both of them to be like I'm not even, by the way, I'm not talking about like generally popular. I mean amongst their own party. Trump is more popular than DeSantis right now, but plenty of Republicans don't want him to run again. Biden is about as popular in terms of his overall approval rating as Trump was at the end of his term, but lots of Democrats don't want him to run again. It's just weird that you get stuck with these two people that generate so little enthusiasm, but that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, once Joe Manchin gets involved, then they'll have the debate, because they listen to everything Joe Manchin wants and says. As soon as he raises his hand, he's like, "Oh, I have something to say." Oh, well, let's listen to Joe Manchin. He's the centrist candidate.
Yeah. Honestly, then just have Marianne Williamson versus Joe Manchin or whatever. Biden can stay at home or whatever. He can go to the pool. Drive around his Corvette, and we'll have them debate.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.